I am back with another Masters of the Universe Revelation review, and this time we have the almighty Battle Cat, and spoiler alert, this thing is massive. Hey everyone, welcome back to Toy Habits, and today we are taking an up-close and personal look at the MOTU Revelation Battle Cat, and we will spice it up by bringing in Battle Cats of the past to show the size and scale differences across the years, so stay tuned. Alright, let's first start off by looking at the front of the box, and you know what? This thing is too big, it's breaking my light box. And that's better. All right, now Battle Cat comes packed in the Masters of the Universe Revelation window display box, which is black on the front and it bleeds up to a blue and purple top. And when I said this thing is massive, this thing is really massive. It pretty much takes up most of my side table here. And the boxes for these figures aren't very interesting, but I guess what is the most interesting is you get to see the figure in all of its glory up front. And they've really saved the best part of the box for the side, and we get treated to this wonderful drawing of Battle Cat, and I love the way that his armor is rendered here. It's very angular. This is the most angular Battle Cat mask that I've ever seen. Usually it's really blunt on the front here, but it really comes down almost like a beak to a bird. And he's looking very fierce. You can see his sharp claws, and it just looks like he's ready to pounce into action. And on the back of the box, you get treated to a wonderful display of He-Man on top of Battle Cat, and it looks like they are bursting out of Castle Grayskull. Perhaps Prince Adam just turned into He-Man, and also Cringer into Battle Cat, and they just look like they are ready for action. You also get to see a glimpse of what Battle Cat looks like without his mask and his armor, and you get to see Cringer. And I love that they're introducing these bios that they have on the back here, and from the classic Masters of the Universe lore, we know that Cringer turns into Battle Cat, but I actually really wish they would have let off with the ferocious fighting steed and loyal best friend of the mighty He-Man instead of the cowardly green and yellow talking Cringer tiger. So that's my only gripe about the back of the box, and I do love seeing all of the figures that are coming up in the line. So before we get into all of the detailed parts that make up Battle Cat and Cringer, I just wanted to show you what he looks like out of the box in its full display, and I must say that this piece looks very impressive, and I love the scale and just how massive this figure is, because when you think of Battle Cat as a beast, he should be huge and he should have a presence to him. And I actually might like this better than the Masters of the Universe Classics Battle Cat, but we're going to take a look at them together in this review, so stay tuned. All right, so let's first take a look at Battle Cat's helmet. And I love the way that this helmet is sculpted. I love the angles and the subtle use of colors that they chose here for the horns, as well as some of the side pieces in the point. I think it adds a lot of character and a lot of definition to this particular piece. And when you have a helmet that's one color, these sculpting details and these colors really help set the tone and give you a feel for the helmet, because it could be a piece where you just lose all of the detail in that single block of maroon that they have, but they didn't do that with this particular figure. And I love that the way that you can see Battle Cat's eyes through the mask here. I think that's a great addition because it just gives the figure a little bit more life, and I think all the lines are just really well done on this mask, even having his eyebrows come to a point here, as well as the angular features that you have. Also notice that this is probably the most oversized mask that I've seen on a Battle Cat so far. A lot of the Battle Cats that I've seen are more form-fitting, and so for example, you'll get more of a look like this where it's more tapered, and I love the way that this flares out because it just looks like he is just a menacing force ready to take you down. Now I wanted to bring in a couple different versions of Battle Cat's head armor just so you can see the differences here. So like I said before, a lot of the old armor on the Masters of the Universe Classics version, and here's the Masters of the Universe Origins figure, the nose is very broad, and they really changed the design here by making this super angular, and I love that they incorporated some color here, whereas the Origins Battle Cat helmet is just kind of a straight red where, you know, they've added some touches of color and it looks like they've kind of have a nod to the Masters of the Universe Classics helmet where they've actually introduced a little subtle touch of color in the helmet here. So I think it's a great touch for this particular Masters of the Universe Revelation Battle Cat. One other thing I'd like to note about the helmet is just how securely that this fits onto Battle Cat. And if you see, they've molded some earpieces here to make it fit in, and they have some just extra molding in here where it can fit onto his bridge of his nose a lot better. So I'm gonna bring in his Masters of the Universe Classics helmet just for comparison, and you can see that there's really only 3 pieces of plastic and it's not really molded to fit on Battle Cat. So I don't know if you've had problems with Battle Cat's helmet staying on, but this particular helmet will definitely stay on Battle Cat for sure. All right, looking at Battle Cat with his helmet off, you can really see some of the details that they've added to this particular updated figure. And I love the use of blacks that they have here with his ear outline and his eyebrows, and also around his eyes and also under his nose as well. In other Battle Cats in the past, this head has just been a straight green and yellow sculpt, and so I love that they're thinking about the detail. I love that they've elongated his nose here and just made that a little larger, and I think this particular version of Battle Cat strikes a very well balance between Battle Cat and Cringer. So this is the first time actually when you close Battle Cat's mouth, you don't get this ferocious looking cat-like face. You get this really meek and mild, cowardly looking creature that Cringer is supposed to be, and I think that they've definitely made great strides in striking a balance between Battle Cat and Cringer with this particular figure. And Battle Cat's head sculpt also comes with a lot of articulation, so yes, the mouth does open and close, his head also rotates and swivels, and his neck actually has quite a lot of range of motion to it, so you can have a lot of ways to display this figure, and I just think they did a fantastic job with the head sculpt on this figure. And with respect to Battle Cat's body armor, I think they did a very subtle job just paying homage to the Battle Cats in the past with this rather large piece of saddle armor, and this piece is not overdone. I actually really love the way that it's sculpted, and it's not over sculpted and it's not overdone. There is some sculpting detail here which kind of gives the impression that it's wrapping around the figure, as well as we have those colors differentiated here in some of the different parts of the saddle. So his horn is a different color than the actual saddle piece where He-Man would sit versus the maroon color for the entire armor. And I actually really like that they chose to put some more armor around his hind legs. In Battle Cats in the past, which we'll see in a moment, a lot of his hind leg was exposed, and you don't want that in a battle. You want as much coverage as armor as you can have in a figure, so I really like the way they did that here. I also like the way that the armor kind of protrudes in the back here instead of being a lot more angled like figures in the past. And so again, a lot more armor coverage for this particular Battle Cat, and I think they did a great job just with the overall representation of the armor here. And turning Battle Cat over on his side, you really get a sense for the scale of the armor, because they actually needed to put 2 straps on this particular figure, because I don't know if one strap just wasn't enough to hold everything on, but they needed an additional strap, which is different than other Battle Cats in the past. Usually there's just one strap running down the center of the stomach there. And as we're transforming Battle Cat back into Cringer, I just wanted to show you just some of the armor up close, and it's made of this really squishy material, so there's really not a lot of hard plastic detail on this particular armor, aside from the horns and possibly the buckle detail that you'll find here. But yeah, it's pretty flexible. You can squish it, you can manipulate it, you can roll it up in a ball and chuck it somewhere, but it'll always come back to its original form, and similar to the Battle Cat head armor. And I think, yeah, it's a squishy material, and it's not as flexible as the saddle armor, but I wouldn't recommend balling this one into a into a wad and chucking it somewhere, but you can kind of get a feel for the way that the plastic is sculpted here. And with Battle Cat's armor totally off, you can see him transform into the cowardly cat we know as Cringer. And I think they did a wonderful job striking a great balance between having ferocious eyes when the mouth is open and also just a meek and mild facial expression when the mouth is closed. And I love the way that the teeth wrap around the jaw here, because it kind of gives the impression that he's frowning or is pensive or is scared. So I think they did a great job just really giving the feel of both Battle Cat and Cringer in this head sculpt. And zooming out, we can get a feel for Cringer in its entirety. Now, this particular figure does have a lot of points of articulation. You can see there's articulation in the hind quarter here. There's also articulation in the mid quarter. So there's a lot of playability in the legs and also in the feet. You do have a lot of different ways to pose this figure. His tail also goes up and down. It does not move side to side, but it does swivel. So you can get that effect by just rotating the tail like so. And the last thing that I want to take a look at with respect to Cringer are his really sharp and pointy toes and the pads on his feet. And so let's turn this around and see if we can zoom in here. And I love the padded detail on the feet, and also this is the first time that we're seeing this long of toenails on a Battle Cat or a Cringer since the Masters of the Universe 2000X line. And I do have that particular figure here for comparison, and you can see that, you know, they kind of did the similar thing with Battle Cat's feet and just making his toenails a lot more substantial in this particular figure. All right, so what I want to do now is just show all of my Battle Cats in relationship to this new Masters of the Universe Revelation Battle Cat. So here is the original Battle Cat from the original vintage Masters of the Universe line, just so you can see the scale and some of the detail here. So as you can see, the Masterverse figure armor is a little bit less horny than the Revelation armor, and that does sound a little weird now that I said that out loud, but you get what I mean. All right, now let's bring in the Masters of the Universe 2000X version of Battle Cat, and obviously the 2000X version, they were going with a totally different look and a totally different market appeal here, as there is a lot of armor on the figure. The face armor is a lot smaller. He also has foot armor as well, and just a lot more updated look to the armor than the classic style. But you can also see the scale difference. The Revelation Battle Cat towers over the 2000X version. And let's bring in the Masters of the Universe Classics version now. I thought the Masters of the Universe Classics version was a massive piece in and of itself, but the Revelation figure just really outdoes the Masters of the Universe Classics version with respect to scale, but really not respected detail. I actually really like the detail that they put into the Classics version, as you can see that there's some leathery type armor here, and there's just a lot more interesting pieces to look at with respect to the Masters of the Universe Classics Battle Cat, but I think that's expected for the line. It was a more premium line, higher price point, and I think definitely a lot more care has been taken into the sculpt with the Classics line than the Revelation line. And I wanted to bring in this Masters of the Universe Classics Cringer just for kicks, because you can just see the massive scale difference between this Battle Cat and this smaller Cringer figure that came from the Masters of the Universe Classics Orko and Prince Adam pack that they had back in the day. And finally, we have the Masters of the Universe Origins Battle Cat, and you can see that the scale difference is quite apparent in this one, and you can also see the different colors that were chosen for the armor. So Battle Cat in his Origins form has more of a red armor, versus Battle Cat in the Revelation figure has a more maroon look to his armor. And here are all the Battle Cats through the years, so you can get a sense of the scale for this particular Masters of the Universe Revelation Battle Cat. And I think they did a great job paying homage to all of the figures that came before it and gave it its very unique look that it deserves for this Revelation line. And since I don't have any Masters of the Universe Revelation He-Man figures, I don't have a comparison of the scale. So I brought in my Masters of the Universe Classics He-Man and the Battle Armor Origins He-Man just for comparison here. And as you can see, it towers over the Masters of the Universe Origins Battle Armor He-Man, and the scale is just not right for this figure. So I'm going to take him away and leave you with, I think, a scale that actually works really well for this particular figure. I think it looks great with the Masters of the Universe Classics line. I think the scale of how large He-Man is to how large Battle Cat is, I think is the exact right scale for this particular line. And I love the way that he looks standing right next to Battle Cat. And I think this scale should have been done in the Masters of the Universe Classics line, in my opinion. Now, I wanted to show you what He-Man looks like on top of this particular Battle Cat. Now, I know that he is not supposed to be sitting on this particular Battle Cat, but I think he just looks fantastic sitting on top of his trusty steed, getting ready to take on Skeletor and his goons. And to be honest, I actually really didn't know what to think of this particular version of Battle Cat. When I saw it in the box, I thought, man, this thing is going to be so huge that I think it's just going to look super weird and really not true to the classic Masters of the Universe figures. But now that I have it open and I'm playing with it, I actually think that this is one of the better versions of Battle Cat that I've seen. And as always, we would love to know what you think about this version of Battle Cat. I absolutely love this figure and will be displaying it with my Masters of the Universe Classics line, and we hope you've enjoyed this review and the trip down Battle Cat memory lane, so please hit the thumbs up if you liked it, and let us know that you like the channel by hitting that subscribe button, and thanks for tuning in to Toy Habits.